Welcome to the long-awaited Game 3 of the series. Second time in the tournament that Game 3 has been delayed due to Games 1 and 2 taking too long. This series will again be Dbmb, the king, against CaptainSPrice, his second challenger. And the factions, if you remember, Game 1, U.S. forces from CaptainSPrice, over Commando West from Dbmb, and in Game 2, complete reversal. Or no, not a complete reversal. Oster for CaptainSPrice, but still U.S. forces for Dbmb. CaptainSPrice took Game 2, Dbmb took Game 1. Both victories grueling slugfests. So grueling that they prompted me to remove Langerskaya from the map pool entirely, which is why Game 3 is taking place on Koludny Ferma Summer instead of Langerskaya. And forthwith I am removing Langerskaya from the map pool because I don't personally think that it generates great games. It's not actually for balance reasons. I don't necessarily think that the map is imbalanced in any particularly bad way. But I just think it's not very good for the tournament to have to sit through games that last over an hour, consistently over an hour, series that are lasting 2 hours or more. It's just pain, it's just terrible. So we're gonna leave that in auto match and star-crossed casts. Now that this game has begun, both players have chosen their commander, shock rifle and mechanized assault. CaptainSPrice going with his standard shock rifle build, 3 cons, 4 cons, probably going to transition to flamethrower spam later on, plus he's got his tier 2 built, so probably throwing a maxim on the field at some point. And Dbmb going with mechanized assault, throwing some assault grenadiers on the field, sending grenadiers and assault grenadiers south. Assault Grenadiers chase away conscripts there in the south. Grenadiers and Assault Grenadiers closing in on conscripts there to win that engagement and force 2 retreats easily enough. Dbmb will get control of the south victory point. Here in the center, conscripts are holed up in the church, providing vision against these Grenadiers for a little while. A 4th squad of conscripts making its way towards the south may be able to win an engagement against these Grenadiers. Grenadiers will find the conscripts jumping into green cover right here. Conscripts make their way into the engagement at short range, should be able to win that. Assault Grenadiers trying to make their way to support. Pios on the flank making their way for the cutoff. And those conscripts will be forced to retreat since they didn't have any support. There goes that Grenadier squad. CaptainSPrice keeps sending 1 squad at a time. He's not going to experience a whole lot of success here. Pios make their way towards the south area. Ooh, he just retreated though. Time to tech up, I guess. Has purchased battle phase 1. Won't be able to utilize those Pios to cap since he needs those to build some the tier 2 structure in his base. There's the first flamethrower from CaptainSPrice. Probably going to keep cranking those out. Price will retake control of his cutoff and the south fuel, sending 1 squad of conscripts to the north to try and get this area under his control. 1 squad of conscripts here towards the center victory point. And that squad of Grenadiers will be forced to retreat. Victory point begins being captured by Price. Dbmb jumping into the house with his grenadiers. 2 command points from each player. Might see shock troops at some point. Price usually does not get shock troops until after about 3 flamethrowers, though. Not entirely sure what he might do next. Dbmb having gone with 3 grenadiers, assault grenadiers. Won't have access to the mechanized assault group for a little while, and he's probably going to skip that, going to go straight for the Stugi. Maybe, depending on what he feels he needs. For now, he has gone tier 2 into a scout car. To give himself a little bit more harassment, counter-harassment potential on this map. Give him a slightly more mobile anti-conscript unit. Conscripts working the north victory point. Conscripts in the church have been forced to retreat.
We have soldiers ready. Engineer standing by.
Price is set up in green cover here, and grenadiers are moving into the church. And around the south flank, this squad making its way towards the victory point. Victory point's very much in Dbmb's lead. He's had really good map control so far, off to a great start against Price. Price kind of struggling all over the map. His lone squad of conscripts will be forced to retreat by these units. Pios and assault grenadiers close into short range. Scout car tries to chase on the retreat, get a little bit of extra damage. Very aggressive movements here with the scout car along the road without minesweeper support, and that seems like a dangerous move right there. But Captain Price notoriously does not plant mines in the early game. He never seems to plant any mines early in the game. He just lets his munitions float right up. And of course, as we know, spend all the munitions on his flamethrowers. But having got field gun, actually, before any extra flamethrowers, he's preemptively countered the scout car quite well. If you can get that into position on that scout car, maybe get a shot off, you might be able to take it out. He does not. He does have anti-tank grenade research and field infirmary already, which is why he hasn't purchased any further units just yet, in addition to the manpower expenditure of his field gun. No extra flamethrowers on the field. This flamethrower squad falling low to the grenadiers right there. Scout car making its way to counter over there on the left side, falling dangerously low. That could be the first wipe of the game. That was so late. There's a 2-2-2 upgrade. There they go. Squad wiped. Not good. Grenadier squad. Oh, thank you, Captain Price. Grenadier squad there, forced to retreat with 1 man remaining. The scout car moves to kite these conscripts. They're going to be running through pretty dangerous gauntlet. I don't know if they're going to make it. Nope, falling extremely low on red cover. 1 anti-tank grenade does connect, but the second will not. Ooh, and the squad of conscripts gets wiped, putting Captain Price at an extreme disadvantage here. He has lost 2 full squads now, his flamethrower squad and a conscript squad. And if those assault grenadiers had switched targets right there, then might have been another squad wiped. Huge amounts of manpower bleed regardless, and Captain Price is taking heavy losses all over the map, and he has no map control. Off to a pretty rough start. Medic bunker going up here in Dbmb's base. IO is reinforcing. Scout car needs to receive some repairs. Assault grenadiers taking control of the strategic point right here. Grenadiers grabbing the fuel in the south, and Price feeling pretty boxed in. Conscripts taking control of the south victory point. Price is going to send a few forces there towards the north. This combat engineer squad making its way towards the cutoff to prevent it being stolen. There are 2 squads of grenadiers available to engage. Dbmb rotating the wounded squad and the healthy squad between these sectors. The healthy squad has a better chance against these flamethrower Pios.
We need to re-establish our supply lines.
222 moves to engage some conscripts here that were on the victory point. AT grenade will damage its engine so it cannot chase on the retreat. Conscripts take heavy damage from the autocannon. Grenadiers moving to support in the engagement will force them to retreat and possibly get another wipe. Maybe not. Surprised he didn't position himself to try and wipe that squad. He actually moved away from the squad while it was in his retreat, while he was in the retreat path, so he didn't get a full burst off, and that squad gets away almost for free. Shock troops making their way towards the south now. Grenadiers, Pyos in the area, and that's kind of a lot for those shock troops to take on. They won't be able to kill that scout car if they go in solo, so that's not a very good engagement for them to walk into, but if they can buy enough time for Price's conscripts to take control of territory in the north, Price might be able to get a little bit of map control back. AT gun, I think, exposed itself on the strategic point right there. Dbmb spots it through the fog of war and is pulling back away.
Our lines of supply are disrupted. Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Again, cannot close the gap on that 2-2-2 with 2 squads of conscripts, and it gets away. How many AT grenades is that thing eating now? 3, I think. 90 munitions worth of AT grenades. If you can soak up an entire demo charge with your scout car, I'd say you got pretty good value out of it. That's one less demo charge you're stepping on and exploding on. We're going to see tier 3 from Dbmb. He feels sufficiently comfortable with his map advantage to get out of tank. He's got 100 fuel in the bank. AT gun circling south. Flamethrower and conscripts. Engaging the lone squad of grenadiers. They'll be forced to retreat. Couple con squads healing up in the base. Shock troops, fresh shock troop squad has been fielded. Usually Price does not field shock troops unless he feels very behind. By going 2 shock troop squads, that is pretty much admitting that he's behind and absolutely needs to try and get some map control back. Smoke grenade tossed at those grenadiers. Shock troops moving into point blank range. Okay, he couldn't decide what to do with those grens. He was like, oh, what do I do? I'm smoked and shock troops are running straight toward me. Ran back and forth a little bit and then retreated. Mortar is bombarding that extremely low health squad. If it gets a nice hit off, it could be bad. Like that. And Price will retreat. Sufficiently satisfied that he's just decapped the point. Certainly doesn't want to risk losing that shock troop squad and gets that out of there, taking that nasty mortar hit. Grenadiers set up in green cover up here. Assault grenadiers set up here on the north victory point as well. And the fresh shock troop squad is making its way towards the center. That mortar is repositioning just in time for this push. And the Ostwind dives straight in to save the day. Anti-tank guns available to screen, and grenadiers moving into the church to provide vision. Ostwind actually attacking through the hedge, and he does not have vision anymore because of the grenadiers leaving the church. Continues to take shots through the hedge randomly, I guess. Ooh. And I guess he saw those conscripts making their way south during that engagement. Took a random shot through the hedge and got lucky. And that Ostwind will remain in the south to screen against any advancing infantry, just hovering, making its way back towards the center now to assist against the AT gun. Kind of just hovering in the area, taking shots at these conscripts here in the south. They're going to be forced to retreat, taking heavy damage. Price couldn't quite make up his mind whether to toss the AT grenade or not right there. AT gun set up behind the church, gets a shot off through the hedge. And grenadiers engaging these conscripts in the church. will be able to get the center victory point under control by the look of things. Shock troops tossing a smoke grenade here to allow them to take control of the munitions, and this cutoff has been secured by Price to shut down Dbmb's economy, at least temporarily. Squad in the church falling very low, needs to get out of there. Retreats just in time. Some of these late retreats, some of these near misses. Shock troops moving towards the munitions point.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Pios, assault grenadiers. Ostwind receiving repairs in the area. AT gun utilizing ambush camouflage to make its way forward. Price taking control of the north victory point here with his conscripts. Taking control of this strategic point. AT gun moves up to take a shot. The Ostwind falls quite low to that AT gun shot and needs to pull back to safety. Price gets a lucky shot off through the hedge. It will probably go down. Assault Grenadiers moving up into short range on the AT gun to screen it away. Mortar gets a nice hit off on those conscripts. And Price will be forced back for now. He's up to his second field gun now. Conscripts working on the right side will get this strategic point under control. And a demo charge has been planted there by Captain Price on the north victory point to protect against counter harassment. Shock troops forced to retreat right there from the light artillery barrage. And this engagement is not going well for Price, getting bled hard on his advance. Throws ambush camouflage on those two AT guns to move up on the scout car, which repositions behind that hedge before they arrive to the engagement.
We are losing territory.
Shock troops will retreat and conscripts are taking control of the strategic point. AT guns need to pull back. Unable to get into position for a shot. Conscripts working on the munitions up here.
Engineers ready for AV-8 flamethrower tanks are now available to burn the Germans back to Berlin.
Another sort of late retreat from Captain Price. Just seems a little bit frazzled this game. A lot of manpower bleed from him. He's really suffering from map control. Flamethrower sitting here in yellow cover, trying to defend this area for a while. Dbmb sending the scout car up there to push away whatever might be harassing.
Only 200 points remain. Double your efforts. We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Flamethrower will be forced to retreat. Ostwind is in the area as well.
Supply lines have been cut.
And these two vehicles will circle around the north to set up some kind of flank. Captain Price's AT guns currently set up right here. Vehicles sitting idle for now. Conscripts take a lot of damage in an engagement right here. I think an assault grenadier grenade might have gotten tossed or a lucky mortar hit. Ouch, that was a huge mortar hit on that clump squad. Wow. Ostwind goes in with scout car support into this. Dove right into those two AT guns. Pretty good timing on that attack. Grenadiers providing vision in the church. Do some damage to those AT guns. They don't flank around behind them. They kind of just dove right into them, but they caught the AT guns in motion, so they were able to get some pretty good damage off right there. Incendiary artillery falling on the church. MG42 will be forced to retreat. Grenadiers setting up in green cover. Ostwind just pulled back for repairs a second time.
Engineer standing by. Awaiting command. Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Grenadiers ready.
Grenadiers taking control of the North Victory Point. Standing sort of towards the edge of the capture circle. Will not be able to be hit by that demo charge. Captain Price really needs lucky demo charge hits or something. Teller mine here by Dbmb plus a bunker to protect his cutoff. At least for now. Bunker probably be pretty effective against Price initially. Since he takes forever to get tanks, always stalling for call-ins. But if he can get his field guns into position on that bunker, it may not last so long. Minesweeper moving up into close range on the Grenadiers. Oh, rifle grenade into the combat engineer blob, hits the demo charge. And detonates Price's flamethrower. Doesn't lose any full squads in the engagement, but his demo charge is destroyed. Loses his flamethrower, and he will be taking even more losses. But conscripts get a lucky snipe on the Grenadier squad on retreat and manage to recover their MG42. So that is a pretty nice win. Austin moves up to take shots through the hedge at the squad that just recovered that. Had vision of them from maybe one of those guys was crawling, I don't know. Or maybe he was just able to see around. Dbmb really likes to use this Ostwind to shoot through vision blockers. So it's very important that he maintain vision of Price's units through some other means. He actually does have a Vet 3 scout car over here. It's not as ridiculous as the spotting scope scout car, but it can see extremely far in its own right. And we'll see an example of that soon. Currently it's hiding from those AT guns over there. Dbmb has gotten out his Tiger, didn't make a single Stug this game. Going Ostwind instead of Stug despite having picked Mechanized Assault, so kind of an interesting build, going Assault Grenadiers into Ostwind into Tiger. You don't really see that very frequently, actually. Scout car pulling back before those AT guns can get into position. Ostwind moving up though, moving around this flank. Tiger moving around the north as well. Captain Price just cannot get his AT guns to get a shot off on anything. Ostwind hiding behind the house. Tiger making its way very wide around the north, taking shots against these infantry squads. There goes another full squad for Price. Light artillery barrage falling on these AT guns, which don't get a single shot off in the engagement. Perfectly executed flank by these vehicles from Dbmb. Scout car moving up from the south. Oh, ambush camouflage on these two AT guns. Everything stopped shooting at them. I was like, what's going on? Ambush camouflage to get one more volley off. Nice usage of ambush camouflage in that emergency situation to get one more volley. Both guns will be cleared. And IS-2 is on the field from Captain Price. He's got enough fuel in the bank to get another one maybe. If he can somehow salvage this game with just this, but that's not going to be easy considering he's only got 3 squads left. Shock troops and 2 combat engineering squads. Then his IS-2 probably be managed quite easily by the Tiger. AT gun combo right there. Smoke grenade being tossed. IS-2 moving up to take another shot at the Tiger right there, bringing it quite low. The combat engineering squads will be forced to retreat by this MG42 in the back. But the IS-2 will abandon the Ostwind. A nice shot through the hedge right there from Captain Price. Panzerfaust shot bounces and the IS-2 will pull back. Dbmb should be able to recover this. First he's going to destroy some AT guns, or recover some AT guns though. Putting him in an even stronger position against Captain Price's IS-2. Shock troops are going to make their way towards the south to take this strategic point.
We have a fresh Grenadier squad. Enemy forces are securing our territory. How can we help?
Tiger destroys the Ostwind. Apparently he's so pop-capped he doesn't want the Ostwind anymore. Seems like kind of a strange decision, honestly. He's got 14 pop-cap remaining. Crewing that Ostwind would bring him up to 98. Higher than that once he reinforces these Grens, in fact. So I guess he wanted to free up his pop-cap for, I don't know. Tellermine here in the south might hit the IS-2. Oh man, stops just in time. This IS-2 is the only... Well, honestly, I don't think it matters. Price doesn't have time to get any victory points under his control. Completely run out of time. Desperate push for the center with this lone squad will probably get shut down by something. Scout car moving up to counter right there. Minesweeper Pyos detect that Tellermine, but time's up. Captain Price cannot get victory points under his control with what few units he has remaining. And Dbmb takes the ace game. 26 minutes. GG.